Welcome to Man at the Tap, a podcast from Tapestry Ministries. Each episode reflects on the daily Bible reading from the Revised Common Lectionary. I'm Gloria, a fellow traveler on a spiritual journey with the Tapestry community, and we refer to the daily Bible reading as our spiritual manna. It nourishes our souls, fostering spiritual growth as we share insights and interpretations that enrich our spiritual lives. Today is Wednesday, August 13th, 2025, in the ninth week after Pentecost during the season of ordinary time. This is a time for us to live an extraordinary, disciplined life as we experience spiritual growth. The lectionary reading is from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 12. Jesus and his disciples are walking towards Jerusalem as he teaches them. Occasionally, the crowd he attracts joins in. A person in the crowd asked Jesus to settle a dispute he had with his brother over the family inheritance. In response, Jesus told the parable of the wealthy farmer whom God called a fool because he was greedy. He had a bountiful harvest and he wanted to keep it all for himself without sharing with anyone. All of his plans to hoard the surplus crop came to an end because he died the very night he was finalizing his plans. Jesus urged his disciples not to worry about the necessities of life, such as what they would eat or about the body, what they would wear. Instead, he taught that the cure for anxiety was to seek God's kingdom, and all they needed would be provided to them. Jesus told the disciples not to be afraid because they are the children of his Father, whose good pleasure and delight is to give them the kingdom. This promise from the Father would enable them to resist the seduction of wealth and prevent them from constantly worrying about their needs. Now, one of Jesus's teaching methods was to tell stories in parables. A parable is a short, simple story that demonstrates a moral or spiritual lesson, often involving human characters. Jesus had just finished telling a parable about a servant who was alert, watching for his master to return from a wedding banquet. His master could not text him to let him know he was on the way, but the servant was ready to serve his master whenever he came, night or near dawn. Jesus said that servant was watchful. The lectionary reading is Luke chapter 12, verses 1 to 48. After hearing the parable about the servant who was watchful while waiting for his master to return home, the disciple Peter wanted to know if Jesus meant the parable for them or was it for everyone. Jesus will tell another parable. This time, the focus is on faithfulness, the faithfulness of a wise manager whose master appoints him to oversee the estate while he is away on a journey. The manager has been tasked with caring for the needs of the other servants, and although the master's return appears to be delayed, the manager carefully and faithfully carries out his duties. Jesus said that when the master returns, he will reward that manager. Then Jesus flips the parable. as the manager has an inner conversation about the master's delay. The manager becomes unfaithful and abandons the self discipline that initially earned him the job. He's abusive to the servants, wasting his time eating, drinking, and being intoxicated. The manager is not considering his master's return. And when the master unexpectedly comes home, he assigned him to a place with the unfaithful. Jesus teaches us in these parables to be both watchful and faithful. Live our lives in readiness for his return.